All right, we are live. Okay, you guys, I thought I'd jump in here. I'm waiting for Dr. Erica, and here's my guess. She probably had people come in at the last minute, and she is healing the world. So that's okay, because that is what makes our show so amazing, is that we want to be able to come right to you, right from our adjusting floors, and bring you all the stories and all of our wisdom and insights about what does it mean for chiropractic to be sexy. So I'm going to let you guys trickle in here, and I appreciate you coming in. And when you come in, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you are sharing this. And I titled this particular episode, "There's Something in the Air." And there's something in the air. Do you all feel it? So it's interesting. There's this, everybody seems to have, there's this like low grade annoyances, irritations. Everybody that I've talked to, there's something coming in from some angle, and it's disrupting our lives. It really doesn't feel good against our nervous system. It's sort of like, rubbing a dog's fur in the opposite direction. It doesn't really work very well. Are you feeling that? Let me know. I'd like a comment to let me know if you're feeling that, because like I said, I've had so many conversations with friends and colleagues and patients this week, and everyone seems to be feeling this level of angst. Where is she? Oh, there she is. Oh, hey, there you are.
Oh,
how are you?
You know how these days go.
I said you are probably, someone probably came in last minute, and yes, you have to heal the world. That's what it's all about, right?
Yes, actually the favorite dog sitter came in, and so the dogs were going crazy. I had both of them with me today just for the fun of it. So
nice. Oh, good.
Yeah, so we were just finishing up that. So I'm so glad you started. That's so awesome. Happy Thursday.
I was like, let me get in, and then that way I could like rally the folks in as we get started. So yeah. Hey Bill, how are you? Nice to see you. So, and Erica and Erica's got to like tilt the camera way up here to get
that. You see this? It's so much. It's so much.
It's like Afro Circus. What was?
I know. And it looks a little crooked today. There you go. I put my head on straight.
It looks beautiful.
It looks beautiful. I don't know about that, but we're here regardless.
Yeah.
Yeah. How are you today? What's shaking?
I'm doing well. So I named this episode "There's Something in the Air," because, as you know, I've had a lot of disruption in my world this week. Crazy stuff. And what I didn't share with you the other day, beside everything seems to be like technical issues coming at me from all angles. However, everyone I've talked to, whether it's friends, colleagues, patients, there's this really underlying level of angst that everyone's feeling. And I'll just share this with you real quick. I was having all these IT issues on Tuesday. What I didn't share with you on Tuesday was that I had a new patient, and I could see her x-rays in the portal as I took them. And when I went to save everything, they disappeared. And it said, did not upload. And I was like, and I just sort of like took a deep breath, and I was like, okay, I'll deal with this another day.
Yeah.
So then yesterday I had a 17-minute commute, my normal commute to the office. I didn't jump on our mastermind call because I explained that to you later before. So I was just running too far behind. I wanted to get to the office, try to catch up on all the things from Tuesday. So here I go. I'm en route to the office. It took me an hour and 20 minutes to get to the office. I left my house at 4 and I got here at 5:20 yesterday. Mm-hmm. So I did not get here early enough to catch up on anything. Mm-hmm. Also, during that commute, I was trying to leave you a Marco Polo video 3 times. Mm-hmm. I hit the record button and 3 times it didn't record. There's something so like the technology, the energy around the electrical conductivity in my world is completely south. However, today, let me give you my upside. I had a new patient this morning. I went in there. I took her first x-ray. It gave me that same error message, did not upload. And I was like, whoa, hang on. And I went in and I just started clicking around and I found the back end portal. And the patient from Tuesday's x-rays are in there.
Perfect.
And I was able to reclaim them, even though it showed no, I'm like a technical genius today. So there.
Well, I think, one of the things, and I know that just as we go through our world, like when we're not feeling good, then we're under a ton of stress, then we're like at the red line, right? And and everybody's kind of feeling that right now. And I love being in Michigan this time because for whatever reason, not for whatever reason, because the 4th of July is a big deal, but it literally is like, let's all take a breather. Let's all take a breather. And I do want to encourage you, if you don't have a breather planned for next week, not just you, but everybody who's listening, like be sure you're taking a breather because we're going to be bombarded. And then we realize like you're just been redlining for so long, but I know that your body's been compromised and we just always go back to that. And then, when we're redlining and then you have one more thing, it's just like, it's a lot. I mean, I'm feeling that too. I get to this point and I'm taking all next week off, which I do every year, except for now I'm going to come in on Friday evening just for 1 hour because I have some emergency patients that I'm traveling next week, but then they're traveling the week after and they're like just in the beginning stages of care, but it's like long road trips. And I'm like, and pregnant moms. And I'm like, we're going to see you. I'm going to be here 4 until 5 o'clock on a Friday evening on the 5th, just because I'm like, I need to get these people in, mostly because life is just plugging away. So be sure we're taking a moment because it gets to be too much right now.
Yeah. And I think that's probably a really great way to put that is like, we've been redlining. We haven't realized we just push so hard and that it is summer. I still feel like we're emerging out of winter, like it's so hard just to live under and not have, I know I had a couple of, quick vacations. So I'm super grateful for that. But it just doesn't feel like enough. I think the inconsistency of taking that time for yourself and feeling like you're always having to drive. And I don't know if it's, just a female thing at this point in time, because that's the feedback I'm getting from all of the women in my life. Right. So, I mean, what do you think? How are your girlfriends doing?
Yeah, so that's definitely part of it, but I mean, I'm just looking at the patient base in general, and it feels like it's kind of across the board. Like first of all, I had a patient group in this morning, husband and wife and 2 kids. They are so exhausted. They built a home start to finish in 4 months.
Oh my gosh.
I've never seen something happen so quickly, but you can just like feel it in their entire existence to move these kids. They're trying to get to a new location for fall. And because the kids are at very impressionable ages, it's like they wanted to get them there. The builder promised to do it and they did it, but their whole lives are like that. But there's also like it really feels like all across the board. And so I've said to people this week, I'm taking next week off, and they're like in their eyes, and I'm like, it's never felt like that in other years for whatever reason. And I'm not sure if there's like this pent up like energy in the stars, in our world, in politics, in healthcare, like what's happening right now. But it's like everybody is like this. And oh my gosh, when this family left, they were just it's like Control Alt Delete for your computer, hard reset, hard reboot for the system, and you could literally feel it. So that's just one example this morning. But I also tell my patients too, I'm like, it is easier for me to just stay, but for my mental health, I have to go. Because if I don't, then fast forward 3 months, and then by 6 months where I take my next week off, I'm good for nobody. I really am good for nobody. And I really shouldn't even be trying to help people in those modes without that moment to breathe. Like, okay, so this evening, I'm going to try and get on the road. So I was going to try and get on the road at 6, but of course, just this week, like I'm mostly packed up, but I got to get the last things put together. But it's like at 7 o'clock, I'm going to put in like a decaf Starbucks order and some egg bites or whatever. And I'm driving 2 hours tonight, and I'm going to stay in this little rustic cabin in the woods with the dogs. And I'm going to sleep there overnight. And initially I was going to take my bus, so I didn't want to drive all the way. But now I'm just going to take my normal car. And once I get on the road, we're going to be ahead of a lot of the traffic, which I'll get on the road tomorrow and Saturday. And I'll be behind today's traffic because I'll be at the end. But when I can do that and just decompress and be on the road, a little bit of music, and be all packed up and just ready to unplug. I can already feel it.
I can see that. Yeah.
To really rock and roll this afternoon, but I need that. And then next week I'll be back for the evening of the 3rd. There's a party, then the 4th of July celebration. Then the 5th, I'll do an hour here. I'll do an interview, a party and fireworks on Saturday, Sunday, and then back into Monday. But I'm like, when the dogs and I can get on the road this afternoon, that's just like the sweetness and the sugar of working so freaking hard. And if I don't leave the area, I don't stop working.
Same. Yeah.
I have to just get a real change of scenery where I don't have on my phone, it's fine. And I'll do some marketing and I'll get some stuff situated. But if I'm around, I come in, I can't help it.
Yeah. Well, I also find that when I am not in the area or not home, like I'm away, I'm not even really scrolling social media. And then I'm taking pictures and I'm like, oh, I should really post that. And then I just don't, because I just don't care. I'm like, that's not my primary aim. So it's sort of this like subconscious way of like, I'm not deliberately saying, oh, I don't want to be on social media. It is what my brain is just like, that's not what's important to me in those moments. And it feels so good.
It does.
You know,
I try to, instead of posting like the day to day, I do try to, like, once my system is in like that deep, like gratitude state of stepping away, I do like to kind of come on and share a message, because when it gets real quiet, like over Christmas time, I was gone for, a week and 2 weekends, and I would video with you and you're like, are you just walking for like 9 straight days? But that's how I process, is through like movement and quiet, but not like sit still. I mean, of course I'll sit on the beach too, but just movement, not having to be on. And then, so I do like to share some in those moments of like revelations that come up, or a little bit of like inspirational something, rather than what am I eating? Like, what kind of cocktail am I drinking? Like, I really get so inspired because I have a moment to reflect. So
movement is so critical for creativity. It really is. And I think also we've talked about movement from a mental health perspective when we've been stressed out, or we've been dealing with things that life has to throw at us, that sitting is not good for us. Like you and I both talked about, when I'm like, for me, just, a stressed out situation. And if I sat for too long, I would ruminate in it, and I would feel like it was pulling me down, where I would sit, I can do a few things, but then after about 10 minutes, I have to get up and I have to move. And then that helps me move into a different level of creativity and thought, where if I'm dealing with something really stressful in life, I can't sit for too long. It really is destructive to my ability to see the way out, I guess. Right.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. you
I
find
think
the answers through movement.
well, I start to get like if I had a million little people running around inside, and when I have a lot of peace, they're all kind of working in one way. But under all that stress, it's like all these million little people, like this frenzied energy inside, and you can't. So this is one of the principles that we work with regularly is you can't be in growth and survival at the same time. And all of those, that frenzied energy is very much a survival reptilian, like we're going to get our basic needs hopefully met, but we're going to be off instinctual brain patterning rather than creativity. We can't be in both. And it's so critical to find a way. Okay, so for instance, teachers are off right now, students are off right now. They get into that rest and relaxation, more creation, more evolution, more growth, repair, restore. We need to figure out how to take that and bridge into the school year and bridge those feelings and ways of anchoring ourselves back into that creativity, relaxation, response, evolve, grow, heal, health, happiness, that kind of thing. And not allow our world to completely be 7 days consumed, or even one day completely consumed in that energy. We have to find anchors that help us do other things.
I'm having this wonderful thought of like, okay, if it could work logistically, this would be so beautiful. You, me, and one other chiropractor in the same building working, each of us work a week.
Oh my gosh.
So
Yeah.
we work every 1 week, every 3 weeks. Like, wouldn't that be amazing?
That would be amazing. That would be awesome. Actually, I would love to work 3 weeks on, 1 week off. Wouldn't that even be amazing? Like,
yes,
off one week a month. And it's really possible. It's really possible. We have to breathe a little bit of oxygen into possibilities. And it's hard as a very driven, entrepreneur and professional. Like, it's very hard to say, I'm just going to take a week off, but I don't know. I'd love to get to that or be on. Yeah. Even one entire week, a quarter. I'm not even good enough. I'm not good enough at doing that. I'm not that I'm not good enough, but I am not, I don't know what the word is, but I do it every 6 months, but I would love to do a week off every 3 months. Then I would love to do a week off every month.
Every month. Yeah, I know. So I guess the good part is with the way our schedules are set up, or at least, yeah. So let's say you take a Monday off and that gives you Friday through Tuesday.
Yeah.
I take a Thursday off. So like next Thursday, I won't be here because it is the 4th.
Right.
And I have Wednesday through Sunday.
Right.
So
it makes a big difference.
It's really great to say, okay, I'm only going to miss 1 day this week. And yet it gives you this big
5 days
time,
out of it. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. That is really nice. So yeah.
Still, I was actually going to say, oh my God, I'm not coughing. And then I'm starting to go into it, but that's okay. Yeah. Yeah, I think that just taking that time and again, just this whole, there's something in the air is really, summers seem to be a time to slow down anyway. I think it's really, there's so many things to do. And like Grow Big said, get to the festivals in your neighborhood and, go walk around. And again, it's movement, it's connection. Happy Mac, I'm trying, working my best. But it's that movement, it's the connection. We had our concert last night. We do the concerts every 2 weeks. And one of the things that I always do is I fill my cooler with water and I walk around and I just hand out, we get the water donated, but I hand it out, free to the patrons. We had, I think our final count last night was 265 or 70 people there. And it doesn't look like it because it's a huge green space, but people, I'm handing out water and they're like, it's free. And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, oh my God, like super grateful just to be given a bottle of water. But then I had people saying, wow, this is so great. I can't believe you did this. And thanks for putting this on. And I'm asking where people are from. We had people coming from Waterford last night, which for those who don't know logistically, that's like a 45 minute to an hour drive to get to our town here.
Mm-hmm.
People were coming in from Brighton. So it's really from that community connection, getting out and meeting people and having just that, I don't know, validation. I mean, I guess part of it is validation, but when you're doing the right thing for the right people, it will come back to you.
Mm-hmm.
And that level of service, it's like fuel for your soul. That's part of the mental health piece, right? So it's a heavy lift to put on a concert or an event, but then when people are like, thank you, and then reaching out to you and asking for more, do more of that, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That's pretty impressive, Grow. 5-year time period, didn't take off a sick day or vacation. I mean, it's impressive and yet not.
That means you did it wrong.
I know.
People get to the end of their year and they're like, oh my gosh, I still have 2 weeks saved up. Then you did it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You did it wrong.
Yeah.
But I also, this last patient, she's like, I've been off the last 10 days and she's got this gorgeous, like sun-kissed skin. And people come in all the time and they're like, I'm so sorry, my feet are grass stained. I'm like, you got sun-kissed skin and your feet are grass stained. That means you're doing summer right. You're doing something right there.
Yeah.
And I don't care how you show up. You can show up any way you want to. So yeah, it's great.
Yeah. I think it's,
I didn't it totally did it wrong or did
I think he's meaning to say he did it totally wrong. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you did it wrong. I mean, it used to be a badge of honor. It used to be a badge of honor. How much can you work for how long and all the things, but it's also like, we don't want to spend our whole lives working so hard to finally enjoy it. When, at the end or once you're retired or like when's the right time? And I'm terrible at it. I'm terrible. Like for next week, just the mental preparation for me to just say, hey, I'm just going to set it all aside. It's a mind game. And then about I'll leave tonight. Like I said, I'll stay in the woods. And then tomorrow I'll be like, okay. And then when Monday rolls around, the guilt will kind of sneak back in. And then I'm just going to, it is a mind game.
I don't think we ever go without that guilt. I think we just have to and it's not that the guilt creeps in and then it takes us over, but it does creep in and we have to talk ourselves out of it. It really is a mindset thing. And looking at from like you're saying, like just setting it all aside next week. It's like, oh, I'm gonna, I have to be very mindful of that too, because otherwise I'll just sit and I told Erica this a few weeks ago that I tend to get on these hamster wheels, and then I'm on an idea, a thought, a process. I'm committed to it. And then it just becomes this hamster wheel. And I told her, I said, I need you to help me recognize when the wheel is just spinning and I need you to take a stick and shove it in the hamster wheel so that I just fly off of it and it knocks sense into me.
True.
Yes. True. And so you need that accountability, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So have somebody who's accountable for you, who's going to say, put the phone down, turn off the computer, walk away from your house, go get out in the woods, take a hike or whatever, grab a friend, go have coffee or dinner or something, but go enjoy some of your life, work will always be there.
Yeah, for sure.
Did you ever read the book, Who Will Die? Who Will Cry When You Die?
Mm-mm.
You know that? So it's Robin Sharma. He's a business coach. He wrote Who Will Cry When You Die? And I think he wrote The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. Have you heard of that book?
I've heard of it, but I haven't.
Oh my gosh. Such great books.
Yeah.
And basically, the basic premise, who will cry when you die? And it talks about how we set our lives up and what we put importance on and what we don't. And, are people going to talk about how hard you worked at work in a good way, right? I mean, it's probably going to be more like they just worked and worked and worked. Mm-hmm. It's not going to be, wow, they were such a hard worker and that's all they did. And they never spent time with their family and they never went out and enjoyed a vacation and they never did. that's not how that's going to look at the end of your life.
Mhm.
So, all the things that you need to actually embrace and enjoy, and the things that matter, I think at the end, are the things that we neglect while
Right.
we're here.
Right.
Right.
And truly, it's part of health. This is, I mean, you guys watch us be chiropractors and come and chat with you all the time, but it truly is like health is physical, mental, and social well-being. And it's not just about feeling good. It's all of those things. And there's this one great book. There's this one book, I can't remember what it was called, but they were talking about at our funeral. Speaking of, when we do pass, it's like there's going to be a bunch of people at our funerals. And then there's going to be a smaller group of people that will mourn for a day or two. There's going to be an even smaller group of people that'll mourn for a week or two or a month. There's going to be an even smaller group of people that are going to mourn any further than that. You'll be remembered, right? But it's like, what really matters is being sure in the end, like you lived and you loved, and the things that you did like helped others and mattered, and that you're just finding your joy. I got my baby here.
Little taters.
Little tater baby.
Well, I was on Food Forest Permaculture. He jumps in here every now and then. Howie, I was on his live this morning, and his topic was, how are you resonating? And just such a great, and he talked about getting out in your bare feet but how people resonate at a low level, and then what we need, living with joy and happiness and love. And that so many people just walk around just angry and on edge and stressed. And that is such a low resonance. And you can't change your own life. You can't change the world. You can't have a great impact on anyone else if you are resonating down here. Yep. You've got to raise that vibration to joy, happiness, and love. Those are so critical.
Yep.
I know Dr. Eric and I are very, we're very mindful of our mindsets, as you mentioned earlier. So and again, it's not to say we're walking around with joy, love, and happiness at all times, but we recognize when the vibration is down. In fact, I left her a message this morning, and I said, I need to sage myself because there's something in my vibrational field that is, I feel like it's erratic. It's not flowing. It's, and sometimes it's okay that you can't figure it out. It's just, but it's the mindset of saying, okay, I'm aware that something is not right energetically in my world. I don't know what it is. I kind of don't care. I just want to fix it and make it right. So I came into the office, and there was my sage and my Palo Santo sitting right there on my counter. It was as if the nighttime fairies in the office set it right there for me. So, I've been with patients all morning, but I am going to have a little sage ceremony.
Yeah.
Because I think it's just, we have to cleanse, right? And I have to cleanse my crystals, and I haven't done that for a while. And I think, though, it is a nice day. I can take my crystals and take your crystals, throw them out in your lawn. And that's another great way to cleanse and ground them. So yeah. It's like, if you just have to recognize if the mindset isn't there, and then, make the decision and start to just take some action to move that needle forward, raise your vibration to a higher state.
Yep. There's, remember G.I. Joe, knowing's half the battle. Now, and knowing's half the battle. And it really is. There was a patient in this morning, and she's like, do I feel all inflamed? She's like, I was doing so well, and then I just allowed myself to indulge and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, and her body is like, it's literally almost like when the tides change. It is so obvious that, you could put this red, like terrible waves flag coming in, like hurricane storm. And she knowingly creates this. And I said, yes, I can feel the inflammation, because we, as chiropractors, we can feel the level of inflammation or the level of ease in the body. That's one of the key components to what we're doing. But chemically, I could feel that. And I said, yes, I can feel that. And she's like, I just gave in. I knew I shouldn't have, but I did. And I'm like, well, the key to it is that you knew it. Like if you don't know you're assaulting your body on a daily basis, a regular basis, multiple times a day, who knows? You don't know, you don't recognize, you can't make that change. But I mean, you clearly, you're taking your life and you're like, there's a lot of chaos. Let me zoom out 30,000 foot view. Let me take a look. Let me get some tools on board so that we can then get back to a little bit more of homeostasis. And our bodies do that all the time. Takes a look. It's monitoring itself all the time. Who's here? What's here? Got any foreigners? Like what's going on? Then it takes response to that, because knowing is the whole battle, actually, not just half the battle. Well, half the battle's knowing, the other half is doing, right?
Yeah, figuring it out.
Yeah.
Well, and I think too, I found myself saying this morning, and I'm sure, like if this has happened to you guys, let us know in the comments, that you're like, it just seems like it's one thing after the next. Okay, let me tell you what that is. Because I also said to Dr. Erica this morning on our video chat, we've talked to you guys about that. We chat via video all the time, or sent it to you and Anna. I can't remember which video thread I was in. But anyway, is that once I heard myself say it's one thing after the next. Now, I'm someone who, when one thing happens, and you should have this as a general practice as well. If you wake up and something happens in the morning, that is not a declaration that you're going to have a bad day. There can be bad moments, or I don't even like to use the word bad, but challenging. We can have challenging moments. It should not derail the rest of your day. So when one thing goes south, and again, it's an energetic state of mind.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I said, it just seems like it's one thing after the next, that was like, holy shit, that's me.
You want another?
Yeah. Like, I'm doing that, right? Like I'm doing that. I am creating and seeing and attracting all of this one thing after the next kind of nonsense, right? So if you can if you can have the recognition of what it is that is disruptive, and then say, okay, like I need to change and shift my state, then the things in good state will start to come and flourish in your life. It's almost like those other things might happen still, but you see them in a different light. They'll feel very different. So it really is how you look and how you approach. And now I'm looking for more shit to come my way, right? So I have to really change that. And that I can't look for any more shit to flow into my direction.
Unless we
I
want
honestly can't handle it.
Unless we want it. Well, so as we're talking about, videoing regularly, I think it was yesterday on there's three of us, another doctor that we're going to get on here real soon. But it's so fun because we talk every single day, but because we're saying things out loud to each other, we're talking about issues or wins or challenges or what do you guys think or what do you do? It starts the ball rolling. And I think it was, you said it about Dr. Anna. It was like, it's so fun to watch you literally talk yourself into a really good idea or talk yourself out of a really bad idea just by talking. And that's one of the greatest things about the communication tool that we use, is that we're constantly being reflections to each other and ourselves. I've been on that app for over 5 years now. And I like to sometimes go back at the end of the day and see, wow, I was really sideways at whatever time I left that video for whoever it was. And sometimes I'll go back and listen to myself and I'm like, who was that even? Who was that? And glad it shifted. And a lot of times it shifts just by giving it out there to,
getting rid of it. Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think too, like, how many times have you called somebody? Again, this is before you introduced me to Marco Polo, or maybe before you found Marco Polo, was that how many times have you called somebody, you're like, okay, hang on, just hear me out. I just need to hear myself talk about this thing.
Right.
I got to just talk it out. Talking it out is such a healthy way to come to decisions or come to conclusions or problem solve, or, get yourself into a better mindset. And I think also the beauty of having that app is that sometimes when you're talking to somebody, you say, okay, I want to talk this out. Sometimes that friend wants to interject and help you solve. Marco Polo doesn't allow for that. So you just get to talk yourself through the whole darn thing, which is the therapeutic piece of it, right? Mm-hmm. And then the beauty of it, then when I'm okay, now talk amongst yourselves, and then you come in and give us the solutions, right?
Right. No, it's great. It really is great. And I don't know if anybody out here can relate to this idea. So have you ever been up in the middle of the night and it's like you just can't sleep? And I have sometimes sent Paula a message or sent another friend a message that says, I don't know what's going on. I cannot sleep right now. And I'm hoping by saying this out loud that it will shift. And it does. It does for me every single time. I don't know what's going on right now. I need some sort of something. Let me just express it and it starts to move. So I'm sure everybody's had that experience. I know I do sometimes, especially at night. If there's like, I'm ruminating, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't sleep.
Well, it's the brain dumping, right? I mean, even if you're trying to, if you're in creative mode, if I'm trying to write something, or, I'm trying to let's just say I'm trying to write an article or whatever it is. And I just, it's just a brain dump. Here's everything in my brain down. Here's all the ideas, the thoughts, how I want this to look. And then you start, it's like dumping it out. It's a big ball of clay. And then you start to whittle it away. Yeah. But if you keep it in your head, you can't sort that out. Mm-hmm. And maybe I don't know if that's a visual, I'm a very visual person. So I have to get that out and then I can start whittling it away. But it's so important to get it off of your brain, right?
Yeah. I love this.
Yeah. Peace Square says, when my husband and I work together, we bounce ideas off of each other all the time. It opens up great communication tool for us in life. Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
Where did you guys work together at? I love that. Yeah. And good communication between husband and wife, so important, or between just, spouses, partners, boyfriend, girlfriend, whoever it is, business partners, could be anybody, but just keeping that communication, wide open. So,
yeah. Well, good talk. Good discussion today. It's kind of a little bit different than we usually would be. I'm going to put number 24 we'll skip next week unless something really.
Did we even get to, didn't we end on 22, or did we talk about 22? Where are we at?
Okay. So we're at 24, which is the limits of adaptation. So I'm going to make that it's going to be 7-11.
Okay.
I'm just going to put a date on here. So we're there. So then.
Oh, shoot. I am speaking at the Novi Chamber that morning at 11:30. We may have to either pre-record it or go live on Tuesday.
I can't do Tuesday, but we'll figure it out.
All right.
We'll figure it out. Or maybe we could even do Friday and have a little bit of like a riff session where we have a little bit more time.
Yep. Perfect.
That's
great. So what is it? Do you want to give us?
So the limits of adaptation. And innate intelligence adapts forces and matter for the body as long as it can do so without breaking a universal law, or innate intelligence is limited by the limitations of matter. It's going to be good.
Oh, that is going to be.
That is the juice.
Hey, Grammy Karen. Thank you so much for jumping in here. We appreciate it. And thanks for listening. Okay. So let's be mindful to start with that, because we're going to
Yeah.
throw down on that one.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh,
So,
that's
yeah.
going to be
I say we do
amazing.
that. I say we just figure out a time on that Friday, and then we don't have to worry about it. But we will skip next week unless Dr. Paul and I just get a wild hair up our butts and we can figure out a time that it will work, and then we'll just throw it out there, and or we'll maybe go, I don't know, we'll live stream somehow, or we'll just take it off completely, and then we'll be back on that Friday the 12th. We'll figure something out just so we can kind of set the obligation of you speaking on that day, and I'm starting new office hours on Tuesday. And that'll be my first Tuesday. So.
Well, I mean, we could, listen, you guys, don't count us out for maybe like Dr. Erica said, we get a wild hair, and like, you know what a flash mob is? They just show up and they do the thing. Like, we might flash mob you guys, not flash you, but flash mob you guys. Yeah.
Yes. So we'll do that. Have the best and safest
have a happy
July, Independence Day. And if you're in the United States and elsewhere, if you're just out there celebrating summer.
Perfect. All right, you guys, thanks again for always showing up for us. Please like, share, subscribe, and we will see you maybe next week, but if not, in a couple of weeks. All right. Be safe out there. Talk to you soon. Bye.